The Bradenton Community Redevelopment Agency Board meeting for Wednesday, September 13th, 2023 to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with citizen comments. Do we have any cards? Any?
No, sir.
Okay. Moving right along to 4, all CRA districts. Item A, Community Redevelopment Agency, fiscal year 2023-24 CRA proposed budget.
Mr. Chairman, Chris is going to come up and give a presentation on this year's proposed budget. We'll need a recommendation from the board once he's finished. This will then go to the city and to the city council to move forward as part of the city's budget for 2023-24. Go ahead.
Hey. Good afternoon. So the budget, basically you've all seen it with the city budget. So this is an opportunity basically we had previously gone through some items at a previous meeting, and this is just an opportunity for you if you had any questions in regards to the budget, or had any comments or anything like that. That's what this time is for. So if you have anything, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I just have one question.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we've got new plans coming, and is this budget gonna be congruent with those new plans? I mean, have you looked at it? Had a
No,
chance to look at 'em?
this existing budget will not be aligned with the new plans. But it does align with the existing plans that are in place right now. So as we go through and the process to adopt the new plans, which is, just so you know, you've all received a copy today, including the attorney. He needs to review it before we bring it back to you, but we're planning on bringing it back at the end of the month at the CRA board meeting on the 28th.
28.
Finally got that right. Once the board recommends, then it will go to the Planning and Zoning Commission. They look at it and recommend whether it's compliant with the city's current comprehensive plan. Once they do that, then it goes to City Council, which right now, if they will do that in October, we're looking at the first meeting in November to come back to City Council. City Council then has an opportunity to look at it. Once they approve it, it then goes to Manatee County. This is an unchartered county. You follow the statute explicitly. They have 60 days by law, maximum, to review and recommend changes back to the city. If they do not, then it comes back to the city council, and on that meeting, when the city council approves it, it becomes the new CRA plan. The plans that we're looking at are plans that I've used in the past that are very aligned with the statute and allow you to do just about everything in the statute. It's a little bit of a reverse from what you normally would see, where you have the community engagement and you specify early. The reason why we're doing this is because I would recommend that you need to update your plans now, and then we can go back at any time. And I know the board has been told that updating the plans is difficult. In a chartered county like Hillsborough County or Pinellas, it is. I've done it in both of those also. Chartered counties have much more authority than an unchartered county. In the city of Palmetto, we updated the plans every 7 years following the comprehensive plan update, because the statute says that our plan should follow the comprehensive plan. That's why the Planning Commission gets a shot at it. The Planning Commission and the City of Bradenton will be reviewing your comp plan this year. So these are temporary plans, and as we go through and have the community engagement, we'll also be aligning it more with your newest edition of your comprehensive plan. 7 years from now, when they update the comprehensive plan again by state statute, we'll update the CRA plan again to stay in alignment. That guarantees that the CRA board is always in lockstep with the city, which is a very good thing. So I know this is a little odd, but this is, this is how we work to get in alignment with the city and update the plans to a current date. So this will give you a very relevant plan and give you flexibility to do some things you probably have not been able to do because the statute has changed, and this will align with what's currently in the statute. So the answer to your question, I probably just said no. The budget does not align, but once we have the new plans in place, we can do budget adjustments, and believe me, we will align the budget to the new plans, not just for 1 year, but we'll reach out 5 years because there'll be projects that you want to line up, and we will want to begin the process of doing those projects. So your budgets will have some depth to them. Really excited about this opportunity to do this with you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions regarding the budget? No? No? All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the CRA fiscal year 2023-2024 budget.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's go person by person. Mrs. Barnaby?
Yes.
Yes.
Hooker? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Next is the Central CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency Purchase and Sale Contract for 413 10th Avenue East.
Mr. Chairman, this is, Chris will go through it, but this is the contract you guys have been working on, and he is here to make that presentation to you. So go right ahead.
Okay, so, as you know, on the March 2nd, or actually, as you know from this morning, that the governing body, the council, approved moving forward with CRA being able to sell the property at 413 10th Avenue East. On March, as you know, on March 2nd, through 31st, we received 2 offers on the property. We were directed to work with Manatee County or Manatee Habitat for Humanity on a purchase and sale contract. We're presenting that purchase and sale contract to the board for approval so we can move forward with them doing all their due diligence and going forward to closing on that property. Have a kind of revised, I think it's been passed out to you in regards to basically on previously when we did the others 1021, there was some items as far as dates and striking out of a couple things. So I had my attorney go ahead and, our conflict attorney go ahead and make those changes. I sent it to Habitat. CEO Bernie Quinn agreed to those changes. Basically, the changes are the time of acceptance, which is paragraph 3 or section 3. It's an updated date on that one. And then on the next page, on page 2, at the top, line 53, that's an updated date as well.
What are they? Do we know?
I'm sorry?
What
It's-
are the new dates?
Okay, the one is,
When's the closing?
It's on October 20.
It's
closing
October.
shall occur on October 20th, 2023.
On line 53.
Page 2,
Very, very top.
Well, mine says September.
that's the old one.
Do I have a different copy of a contract? I've got 2 different copies. Okay, hold on.
Let's see.
You got the new one.
Let me bring it up.
Okay.
October 20th, okay.
I think the one attached to the agenda is the
Is
old
the
one.
old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah,
one
so
that
it's
was
on or
being-
before September 30th.
Right, I get it. It's separate.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Oh, yeah, I'm just making sure there aren't any other changes.
Okay,
That's all.
so is that, the closing date was October 20th, which is line 53. Section 9 is where the strikeout was that we had done in the previous contract as well. And then the title and evidence insurance, which is line 155, is at least 30 days. And that would be, I believe, the last, here. Section 12, property inspection, right to cancel. Buyer shall have 30 days. And those were the only changes to the contract from what was given to you with the agenda item. So if you have any questions in regards to the contract.
Any questions for Chris? Okay. No questions. Chair will entertain a motion.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve the as-is purchase and sale contract with Manatee County Habitat for Humanity.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion or new business, sir?
Yes, sir, Mr.
It's all
Chairman.
new business for you.
It's all new business, that's exactly it. Unfortunately for you guys, it's all new business for me. We're going to research land trust, which will help this board not have to go through processes like this. If the city had a land trust and it was for affordable housing, we're not talking about for multifamily, we're just talking about single-family affordable housing, single lots or large lots that have been compiled for almost a subdivision. The nice thing about a land trust is you don't have to create a subdivision because there's just one owner, the land trust. The land trust can also be used for long-term sustainable maintenance, which has always been one of the problems with doing any type of affordable housing. With the land trust in place, that will guarantee, even past the CRA lifespan, that there will be maintenance on the property. We will be bringing that back to you. Most likely, we'll be working with the Florida Housing Coalition. Worked with them in the past. They have an excellent land trust. Actually, he's the executive director now of ASHAN of the coalition. And we will be bringing back to you. If anybody wants to learn about it, be happy to walk through it with you as I'm walking through it. But we want to set you up so that you're not having to pick and choose from the board. What will end up happening is we will have a policy in place that once the land is in the land trust, developers and contractors will be able to come in and apply for the use of the property for the types of housing that we want to see built. So those policies will be coming forward. Also, every policy will come before the board for approval, and then staff will work the policies. So you can look forward to seeing the land trust within the near future of a year. Also, with the, and just so you know, in the draft plans that I gave you, the first section is definitions. And you will find definitions for things like affordable housing, because one of the biggest problems of not only CRAs, but local government in general is there seems to be so many definitions for what affordable housing happens to be. But we wanted to define things for the CRA board so that when we speak and we talk, we know exactly what it is we're talking about. That definition comes from the Florida Housing Coalition and from the Florida Housing Finance Corporation, which is a state-run organization. That's the definition that the state uses. If we end up using state money or federal money, we want to make sure we're using the same definitions they are, because if we're not, then we'll have a problem. We want to align with them. That's what the new plan helps do. If you would want to talk about what that definition is, then we can discuss that. And if the board wants to change it, by all means, we will change it. But we will let you know where we got that information from. In fact, your new draft plans are referenced. So when you see something, you know, you just look down at the footnote and you see exactly where it came from. If you are wondering why something is said in the plan, it will tell you exactly, usually in the statute, where it's drawn from. And we draw most of our information from Florida Statute 163, Part 3, the redevelopment chapter, so that the board is comfortable making decisions because they know they're working right out of the statute and that the plan is aligned with the statute. Also, on a much happier note, Chris and I had a discussion with Freebie this week. The recommended budget you just passed has money in it, but not for the full 3 cars. Changing the budget right before the city is ready to maneuver and adopt a budget is not a good thing. The good news is after October 1st, when the budget is balanced, we can drive finance crazy by doing a budget adjustment immediately. And they will look at us and go, why are you guys doing that to us? Freebie at our meeting told us that they would be here at the end of the month with the contract. We gave them the information they needed. We're going to hold their feet to the fire on that. They're also supposed to bring a car, one of the cars models that we want to use in the city of Bradenton. So got to get them to show up with the car in the contract. If you agree to the contract, we move forward with the 1 car immediately, and we get it here before April, which I know is a big issue. So we'll get this car here as quick as we can.
Or April, no.
how far it is?
Before
February?
February.
Okay, I don't follow baseball that much, so, sorry.
You will.
I'm not, I will now, yeah, I will now, okay, yeah, I will now.
Dude, if I know more than you do about
Yeah, we're in
sport,
trouble.
you got a problem.
So, we can do a,
Back to not having a contract.
we can bring the contract in, bring the car in, take a break in the meeting, have the city information officer take a picture of everybody with the car, and we'll get that out. That'll be a nice statement, so.
Did the money go up
I
from
thought-
what they
I
told
thought
us?
we had
I thought we
agreed-
were farther along on this.
Yes, I thought we agreed to 2 cars.
2 cars, Chris?
3 cars?
We need to look at, we went with whatever they recommended, and they may have said they recommended 3.
So when I had put it together, put it in the budget, the cost was basically, I had other numbers from previously that I kind of plugged in. And so I budgeted for 2 cars at 48 hours at $35. But the costs were not that. The costs are increased. It depended on how many cars there were and how many hours operating and things like that. So that was what I had budgeted for. When they did the presentation, they did recommend going with 3 cars at 56 hours. So the 1 car at 56 hours is just over, I think it's about $110,000 for the year, annual. So we have it within the budget to do the 1 car. And as Jeff was saying,
But they recommended that we do 3.
they recommend that we do 3, but we
What
can
will that
start.
cost be?
That's
300?
That's, yeah, it's 108,000 per car annually.
But
Can we
when they were,
afford that?
well, but here's the thing. When they were here in front of us, they saw the figures that we were looking at. And at no point in time did they say, oh, those are not the correct figures. We operate with these figures.
When they made the presentation, on the presentation itself, it said 108,000 per car for, the 3 cars would be annual, 108,000 piece, and then 56 hours of operation on that. So we had budgeted that's because we had budgeted prior to their presentation. And then we would have had to look at doing a budget, to adjust that to increase the budget for them. But we were out of time kind of to be able to do that. So at this point, this is what's in the budget. So we can start with the 1 car. After October, we can look at doing the budget adjustment to bring in the additional cars. It seems like it's going to be a 60-day ramp up in any way. But just to get the contract going and get that 1 car in there, And then after October 1st, like Mr. Burton said, we can look at doing a budget adjustment to bring in the additional cars prior to the baseball season.
If I may,
Go ahead.
my memory is that the concern, I think that my impression was that the five of us felt that one car we had budgeted for it and was sufficient. Then the salesperson raised the issue of whether or not our wait times with just one car would effectively torpedo the project and make it a failure. And I think that's when we had the notion to follow their advice.
So the contract that, Mr. Chairman, the contract that is being brought to you is a maximum of 3 cars, but 1 car at this moment just because of the budget and not being able to maneuver right in front of the adopted budget. Once the contract is signed, once we get past October 1st, we can do a budget adjustment to answer your question. We'll find the money in the budget, okay? And you will know what that number, when you sign that contract, you will know what that number is. So when we come back at the end of the month, it'll be right in front of you what 1 car costs, 2 car costs, 3 car costs. And once you agree to the contract, then we will be happy to move forward with the one. We get past the balanced budget, we'll make the budget adjustment, and we'll bring in the other cars.
I just hate to see us start something that we aren't going to see through to success, because like they said, we're probably gonna need 3, and so I think if we aren't able to do 3, then we shouldn't start it. That's
Well,
my opinion.
the good news about something, I mean, I've dealt with this in Tampa, they've done this. There's also, as was mentioned by Freebie, there's an FDOT grant. Tampa was on the back end of the 3-year deal, so once we get the project in place, we can then ask for Tampa's grant application and copy it because it was a successful grant. And then we can send it to FDOT and ask them to reimburse us for the money we're spending. If we can get that, then we can use that money elsewhere and let FDOT help us. The other thing is, and I think I talked to Chris about this, is if we have cars in the CRA that are moving people around, what does that mean for our parking policies? Because if we have cars that are helping people move around, they don't need a car, then we need to be thinking about our land use designations and the number of parking spaces. Because parking spaces on multifamily units, I don't know if you priced them lately, but they're in the tens of thousands per space. And that can mean a big difference to rent. So once we get this up and running, we need to probably talk about that with the city. Because it's a good program. I've seen it work very well, and it's very forward-thinking. So, but we'll get you that contract. That's the first step. And we'll get it in front of you. We'll discuss it. If you approve the contract, then we will move forward as quickly as we can. I am sure they will get all 3 cars ready because it'll take them 60 days. And so as soon as we can make the adjustment in the budget, but I'm sure they'll move forward with all 3 cars just because they can hear it in your voices. You want 3 cars.
Have it by February, though.
Let's get that budget back to us. If we need to, we can. I don't think we need to call a special meeting, but I think we can get it moving forward as fast as possible.
Okay.
All right?
Because I know I was under the impression that we were trying to get it set up for spring training last year.
I don't know anything about that.
I know. I'm just, if you're looking at our faces, it's because we thought we were further ahead than apparently we were.
We are further ahead than we were at the last meeting. We had a really good contract meeting with the provider, and that contract is coming. If we could have had it here today, we would have. We gave him everything he needed. He said he would be here. We will keep his feet to the fire. There are other vendors out there that do similar things. So let us get you that contract, and then we will push them to get one car to us and have the other two on the way.
Any questions
Do you
on that?
need anything from us?
Not at this time, no. I'm gonna need you guys to, we need to sit down and talk about this individually, the numbers, prior to the next meeting, because we need you to feel comfortable with those numbers when you come into the meeting. Yeah, absolutely. So we will, once we get the final numbers in the contract, we'll sit down, go over it, and of course, the attorney will have it reviewed by then also, so. We want him to be happy, right, Scott? There you go. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
You're done with giving us the business, is that?
I'm done with giving you the business here. For today, yes.
Oh, boy. Any other new business or other discussion from anyone?
Would you like me to briefly say what my observation was yesterday, or are we good? They did not have a quorum, but however, they
Okay.
had,
Could you, like?
oh, I'm sorry, yes.
tell us-
I'm just segueing in from this
You're
morning.
You're doing my mother-in-law.
I'm going
It's
right
right
in.
the middle.
That's what I do.
It was my turn to attend the CCRA Advisory Board meeting, and unfortunately, they did not have a quorum. However, the people that were present had, it appeared to me, reviewed the budget and asked some really great questions. Dr. Burton was capable and answered them very effectively, and I think overall, they seemed very pleased with the addition of him to the team, and he also was going to share the plan with them to get their feedback on it as well.
Oh, for sure.
Mr. Chairman, just because I know that there are 3 CRAs, and in Tampa, there are 8 CRAs with 8 CACs, which are Community Advisory Committees. If the CRA board wants to move forward with additional CACs, that's something that we can bring forward to you at the next meeting or the meeting after that, possibly. Policies for a CAC, for the 2 additional. We would want to align all of those so that they're consistent. And I'd also want to speak with the attorney about doing the minutes and doing Teams meetings and things like that, if he's okay, if the law's okay with us, how we record those meetings, because they're all going to be in the sunshine. Making them public, and also how we can use technology to make it easier on staff. But it starts with policies first. So if the board wants to recommend the staff within the next 60 days or the next 2 meetings to bring back policies for the CACs, we will be happy to do that.
We previously voted to merge, correct?
Yeah, we were concerned about having enough people to volunteer, so we said we could put the 14th Street and the
Trail.
Bradenton CRA. Well, we can't rename that.
Well, we
Although
can't-
maybe we
maybe
can now. Can we rename the CRA?
Yes, you can rename the CRA.
Oh, we may want to do that.
They're created locally and by state statute, but we do have to notify the state special district accountability program if we do rename it.
Well, we just had discussed that 14th Street is somewhat got a pejorative, and that we'd like to call it Tamiami Trail CRA, and try to start branding that way.
It would have to be done when we update the plan.
Okay.
So I'll get with the attorney, because we're going to have to go make sure we follow the right process to do that. It shouldn't be a problem, but when we do the resolution, it will need to include that in there, that we are giving it a different name. So, yeah, absolutely.
So, previously, the advisory boards, you had to live or work in the city of Bradenton. I didn't know how much, if it was gonna be more restrictive with the advisory.
CRA.
Right.
It used, I think it
So,
was.
so the statute is clear that if the governing board is not the CRA board, and you appoint people to the CRA board, they either have to work in or live in the CRA area. That's the board. That's this board. An advisory board is not discussed in the statute. It's something that a local CRA board does to request information from the community itself. I would, however, recommend that since the statute does say that for the CRA board, that we should follow it generally. And for instance, I'll use a realtor. Very simple. A realtor could easily, because at some point they could sell land in the CRA. So they're working in the CRA. So what we would do is we would accept applications. The CRA board would approve those applications. It's a fairly straightforward process. I would also, having a large board is great, except for the fact you have to have a quorum. So you start out with a number that's, if you had 5, you would need 3 to have a quorum, and something that's workable. And so I think that's something that we would set that policy up, bring it to you, you can review it. If you like it, you can pass it, then we will begin that process. So, but again, you have 3 CRAs. I don't think I've ever seen actually I take that back. The city of Fort Myers has 4 CRAs and 1 advisory board. So, that's stretching it to me a little bit. And each CRA is different. So you might have one that's more of a business versus one that's residential. And so you really do want to be careful how you do it. Best practice would be to have one for each. But if you don't feel you can get enough people to join, then we have to consider that also.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, new business?
Do you want us to bring you back policies for a CAC?
Yes.
I would say so.
Yes.
And do you want to set it for the meeting in November? Us to bring it back to you?
That's, if that works out timing-wise with everything else.
I would rather,
That would also come.
I like it when the board is, they expect something from us. So actually a motion and a second just saying, hey, staff bring back policies to us by November
1st.
How are you gonna handle the central CRA? Because they've kind of been through this whole thing, and we'll be starting them over.
I feel right now, the CCRA Advisory Board, we have to look at them right now because their terms and stuff are, I don't know where they are with their terms, or if some of them even meet the criteria, at least what we had to work with. I don't think it will be a problem because, when you know better, you do better. So if there are some changes that need to be done with the CCRA advisory
This is the
board,
time to do it.
This is, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
You're not, no. Mm-mm.
So the motion is for the staff to bring back CAC policies by November the 15th. And someone would move, and I don't want to do the chairman's job, but
November 1st, I think we're moving.
Yep, we're meeting on the 1st. We're not meeting on the 15th.
Oh, wait a minute, we moved the city council meeting, they may not have been included.
Oh,
we can do that.
So the
Right.
CRA will
that's
be
right.
meeting the same day as council? Is that what you're saying,
Yes.
on the 1st?
Well, here's the thing.
I didn't know.
will not
That's
be in
what- I
town
apologize.
Either one of those dates. If you want to keep the CRA meeting on October 31st, and then have the council meeting on November 1st,
That sounds good, are we wearing
That's-
costumes? I'm kidding.
I
I
think
will
we're
not.
judging an office.
I mean,
Yeah,
does
we're
that-
judging an office thing that day.
We'll be here.
This is at 3.
this is at 3. It'll
You
be
think
at
I'm gonna
3.
go home and change if I come down here in a
CRA is
costume?
3 o'clock. So it'll be
Okay.
by October 31st.
October 31st, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion that we instruct staff to bring us back CAC policies and procedures if necessary by our October 31st meeting.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, sir, we're done.
We're adjourned.